Welcome to Believe in People Unplugged, created in collaboration with and in support of the Matthew Perry House. Hosted by Amy Goldberg and Caitlin Morrison, this is a space for real conversations with musicians and artists, exploring who they are beyond the work, what fuels their creativity, and why music plays such an important role in their well-being.
Welcome to Believe in People Unplugged in collaboration with the Matthew Perry House, hosted by me, Amy Goldberg, and Caitlin Morrison. Today's guests, there's two of them from the Skydiggers. Yes, we have Andy Maize and Josh Finlayson. And we're excited because they are two amazing musicians who created music rooted in connection, emotion, and lived experience. Their work blends thoughtful songwriting with rich musicality, capturing moments of reflection, vulnerability, and hope. Together, they are dynamic, and we're really excited that they're here. Well, gentlemen, welcome to Believe in People Unplugged. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Good.
Well, how did you two meet? Josh?
We grew up in the same neighborhood. Andy and my brother were in the same year at school, a couple of years older than I am. And so I've known Andy since I was probably about 7 or 8. They played hockey together. They went through part of grade school, middle school, and high school together, and our folks were friends, like kind of from the neighborhood. So we've known each other most of our lives. And he would probably have a number, but I'm not a numbers person.
Yeah,
It's getting too big.
it is. It's getting bigger every year.
Funny how that happens.
It'd be about 56 years now. Yeah.
That's incredible. So it could go both ways. You really think about it. And this is a good news story, but really, sometimes it's, you knew each other when you were growing up and sort of went your own separate ways, but you are playing together, writing together. I mean, where did the love of music come into play for the two of you?
For me, I grew up in the 70s. I was a teenager, and mostly we danced. There wasn't the idea of being in a group or being on stage performing wasn't really part of the mindset at that time. Although I played in high school in a kind of a folk duo with a fellow by the name of Dave Perlmutter, and we would play at school assemblies and that sort of thing. Maybe a little bit of Hall and Oates. And then the Clash and the Sex Pistols came along, and suddenly it was okay to be in a band without having a whole lot of skill. So for me, that was a really an influential time. Was the late 70s.
And
you
for
have a lot
me,
of skill now.
Yeah, well,
There's that.
some days.
Ha.
And Josh, how about you?
so I grew up. I'm the youngest. Well, we both are the youngest of three boys. Everyone in my family played music. So being the youngest, I sort of absorbed all that and just thought, especially with older brothers, if your brothers can do this, any idiot could do it. So it gave me an inflated sense of ability. And around the same time that Andy's talking about, been sort of mid to late 70s, a lot of young people were starting bands because, the punk and new wave music was, I would say, sort of deceptively simple, but you didn't need a lot of talent. You just needed a little bit of attitude and a little bit of, confidence or self-confidence or whatever to go out. And that's kind of how I started. It was just starting to play in bands at that time. And both at the end of my high school, we went to the same high school, but we're a few years apart. And Andy was in university at that point. And my last year of high school, we did some gigs together with each of our individual bands. And Andy was living in Hamilton at the time. I was in Toronto, and we would do a few shows in Hamilton with his band, and they would do some shows with us. And in Toronto. And then that band I was in moved over to London, England for a couple of years. And then I ended up moving back, and Andy and I started hanging out and playing music, and that's sort of what led to the Skydiggers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what connected you two both to the same genre?
Well, I think because we had both been playing in bands that were, you know, I don't know how you describe them, Josh, but sort of more new wave. Um, I mean, the band I was in, Directive 17, we were influenced by early U2, Psychedelic Furs, The Jam. Um, I think in order to play a song, we had to set up, all of the gear, and so I think when my band or the band I was in, Director 17, came to an end, and Josh's band, the Ramblers, were winding down, we really wanted to get back to just doing something simple, playing an acoustic guitar, two voices, playing for anyone, anytime, anywhere. And I think it was natural for us to gravitate back to traditional songs, folk songs, traditional country songs. So that's kind of how we started out again.
Wow. Very cool. And Caitlin, when did you first hear Josh and Andy? Was it at live?
No. Well, first of all,
Live live.
Josh and Andy have played 2 times for our little organization that we
Oh,
have.
cool.
And both have been amazing. Also, I have heard them before because Matthew is a big time Skydiggers fan. Always
Right.
was.
That's
and
right.
his buddies, who still live in Ottawa and are a big part of the organization as well. So we, I've I may have gotten a little wee bit starstruck the first time we met, and that's okay. And they didn't. I think I played it pretty cool. I don't think they knew that until just now, and I admitted it, and now they know. But I've always been a big fan of their music, their songs, their stuff. They did have a moment during the Live Loud Live thing that I'll tell people about maybe a little bit later. But no, it's sort of a through, like a lifelong thing. I've known you my whole lives, kind of. So hey, thanks for being around my whole life. That's not a question. I realize I'm supposed to ask questions. That's not what that is.
And were you influenced through Matthew first? Did Matthew listen to Skydiggers first? The Skydiggers?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And I didn't really, to be totally honest, I wasn't actually sure I knew who this, and please, no offense.
The name.
I wasn't really sure I knew who the Skydiggers were when I heard Skydiggers, but the second that I heard like note 1, I knew exactly what I was listening to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be known for your music, right?
Absolutely.
Question mark? I asked
Absolutely.
a question.
No, absolutely.
Well, and the two of you are so charming. Like, when Live Live Loud, the event, well, first of all, the acoustics in that place, what was it called?
Kerner Hall.
Kerner Hall.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And the warmth to it. And when the two of you came on stage, there's just such a, like, you just feel like pulling up a couch and just chilling and listening to your music. There's such a comfort and familiarity with your sound and the two of you. You're just, you just feel that authenticity, the real, it's true, the real you. And so your music is fabulous.
Well, thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Just back to what Andy said, when we started, it was even really before the Skydiggers. When we started playing together, it was as a duo, and we could take it anywhere, and that really appealed to us because you had to adapt to the situation, and we've been doing it a long time, and it's sort of amazing. After such a long time, you forget how sort of entwined you are and how intuitive it is. And when you get into a room like that, you're singing to the room, you're playing to the room. It's really, it's such a gift, it's such a great thing, as well as what a great night of music and meeting new people and reconnecting with people that we've known for the last, well, some for almost 40 years now.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you that because the camaraderie we have for Believe in People Unplugged, we've actually invited all the guests, all the musicians back who were at Live Live Loud, and they're all on. And everyone just had whether they knew everyone or not, it was just a collaboration that just connected. Did you feel that way? Like, how did you feel when you were in the room with everyone? I mean, you alluded to it for sure just now.
Yeah, it was a special evening, for us. Just being involved in something that is taking basically a tragedy and turning it into something positive
Yeah.
is for us to be involved in that in trying to bring more positivity into the world. I mean, it's
Yeah.
we're on
I
it.
think I think everyone, this should be like a We Are the World. I think they should all come back and cut a song, because we need it right now for the healing of the world. Like, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
I really
Well,
think that that'd be amazing.
yeah, music is we say this all the time, but music is great medicine, like it's something that really, it just, for everyone, it's such a powerful and poignant thing to connect people with. And I think, as we've gotten older and as we've been doing this for this amount of time, that's become so apparent to us. And that's good medicine for us as well.
Yeah.
These evenings are, you know, uh, equally as meaningful to us as they are for anyone else that's a part of it.
Well, and that's very meaningful for you. Very, very, very meaningful for you. I'll tell you the little bit um that made you stand out specifically. So my sister and brother were there too at the show, and they didn't have to be in front of anybody, which was very lucky for them. But anyway, they my sister Maddo, who is the youngest of us all and the most beautiful and whatever, all the things. She and I were, we were sitting next to each other. We're listening to all the stuff and loving it all. Um, you two came on, and she turned to me and she was like, "Oh my God, these guys are amazing." And then you went into um, your little free falling
But
moment,
Tom Petty, yeah.
the
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
Petty moment, which definitely in the top 5 of Matthew's all-time favorite songs. And Matto went, "Oh, come on, you've got to be fucking kidding me." And we both started crying. And it was the
Wow.
only time either of us cried the whole way through. So there you go. You got our feelings out of us.
Yeah.
Good for you. I have a question about your early, like when you were two Utes just playing together. Did you start right away doing your own thing, or were you playing other people's stuff? And if so, what were you playing?
Well, it was a bit of a combination. I mean, I think right away we were playing traditional songs, folk songs, country songs, and whatever songs we liked, anything that worked as a duo with two voices. But as we were trying to learn some of these songs, as as musicians that are not as competent as others, you would end up sort of, it would sound different, so it would become your own song, and that's what all artists do. I mean, you start copying other people and then finding your own voice, and that's basically how we and in terms of what songs we did, so there was a Doc Watson record that we had borrowed from a friend of ours, and we learned a couple of traditional songs from that record. One was Alberta, which is a beautiful, I think it's an old English folk song. We're not entirely sure of its origin. And there's another one, a song called Blue Railroad Train, which was a an American brother duo from, they started in the 30s, called the Delmore Brothers. They sang and played together, and we've played that song since day one, again, through the Doc Watson versions. And there's other, when I grew up playing, I love that finger picking and flat picking style of Doc Watson. That was a big influence on me and what I wanted to learn initially. So it worked well when we worked as a duo, because it sort of gave us some uh, some broader ability to try different material. Sometimes that stuff would work in certain rooms and such certain situations. Other times it wouldn't, because it was just too quiet. In a room like Kerner Hall, it's that stuff's great. In when you're kind of facing a noisier crowd, you have to play accordingly. Like, for instance, the restaurant we played but also, like, great energy in the room. That was a lot of fun. That was and those are the things you learn as you're a performer and you've done it a long time. It's just like, yeah, let's play to the situation. And so, yeah.
Yeah. That, by the way, for anyone who wasn't there, and there weren't that, it was a smallish event, was an error on our part in thinking through the room itself, where it was like this restaurant that's sort of divided into sections. And so they're playing at the front of the place, which is where they put a musical act, but people were kind of scattered into other, and it was like everybody move where you are, go to a different place. But anyway,
Where was it? Where was that, Caitlin?
it was at a little kind of restaurant, bistro, bar type place in Ottawa called The Social, which is right on Sussex there in
In the market.
at the market, at the Byward Market. And it's a lovely spot, but
Mhm.
when it comes to live music, you it it you don't want to bring your A game people.
Yeah.
And we did. And we did. I consider the Skydiggers at this point, having played more shows than anyone else, the Matthew Perry house band.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too.
It was just that there was a great energy in the room.
Mm.
That people were happy to be involved in the Matthew Perry Foundation announcement that day. And so there was a great energy, and for us, that's the most important thing. And
it's not about us. We know in that situation that people aren't paying tickets to come see us play and do. It's about contributing to
Good point.
that that event, and that we definitely felt honored to be a part of it. It's important what you're doing. There's a lot of value to it, and that's not lost on us. We all have gone through our struggles with family and friends, with mental health and addiction, and to be able to contribute in a way that for us doesn't require much effort at all is a good thing.
If anybody is wondering
Yeah.
what the opposite of a diva personality is,
Yeah, exactly.
that's that. What you just
100%.
heard is that.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
question. And,
Uh,
and I wanted to ask, what's your writing process like?
I mean, our writing process has evolved and changed, and I wouldn't say there's any one way that we write. I mean, certainly, as I was saying earlier, when we started and we were trying to learn like a Tom Petty song, all of a sudden I couldn't figure out all the chords, and so it evolved into something else. Or you know what I mean? Like and then and with all bands, you have X number of years or time to prepare to make your first recording. You make your first recording, and then what? Then you have to sort of really bear down and start, coming up with songs and ideas. So we did combinations of doing that together. We wrote as a band, we wrote individually, and we still continue to do that. And that's, no one, you never, it's an ongoing, to me, it's an ongoing discipline. And it's sort of, it's, we often say recording and making records is the reward for going out and doing shows, because we get a chance to write new songs and then go and record them. And when people come and see us now, they want to hear for whatever 6-10 songs they've come and purchased tickets for. And I think we're extremely grateful for that, but also equally as grateful that we are that we love playing those songs still. If we attempted to do anything as songwriters consciously, I think it was that we wanted to write songs that were as timeless as possible, so they didn't feel dated. Maybe the recordings might sound a bit dated, but the songs themselves would could have been from 20 years previous or 20 years from now. That was, if there was any agenda, I think in my mind that was one of them.
I've always wondered about that when I think about music and being a musician and touring and all of that. Is I don't think people listening ever get tired of the music, because they love it. There are people who follow bands around and want to listen to the same song all the time. But like, is there ever a time where you just like think of a song that you've played 150 times already that year, and now you're playing it again, and you just go, it's ours, we love it, I never want to play it or hear it ever again?
Never.
I've never felt that
Never?
way. I mean,
Wow, that's
I would say there are shows and gigs where you're tired, you feel exhausted, or you feel, but the songs are actually ultimately the things that, to me, give you that energy to sort of get through that stuff. So, and in our case, I'm again like grateful that I don't think there's any song that I don't like playing and performing still. And in fairness too, we don't do 150 or 200 shows a year anymore. We're a little long in the tooth for that.
I would ask you, what's your favorite part of working together? What's that thing for you guys?
It's hard. I think that's a little bit hard to define it because sometimes it's the shows, sometimes it's the recording, and most of the time it's, I think of, during the pandemic, we were supposed to have a gig on March 14th. We were releasing our first record on vinyl for the first time after 30 years.
Wow.
And we had a party all set up for March 14th, and we rehearsed, and I thought we were sounding really good. And then, shit hit the fan, and that was it. And Josh and I didn't get together for 3 months, which was the longest time we hadn't been together in 35 years. And we got together in his backyard in June of 2020, and we played, just played whatever we wanted. And we were so excited that we then pulled out a bottle of wine and a couple of beers and a bottle of wine, and we just enjoyed being together. And I think that's the, if it's something that a friendship that can't really be defined. It is, when you have good friends that you can just pick right up with after absences or time apart. That's just something that you don't take for granted, and you can't really define.
You're the friendship equivalent of that sweet old couple that's walking down the street and they're still holding hands with each other.
I spent as much time with Josh over the past 35 years as my wife.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure Josh has spent almost as much time with me as his wife, Ruth.
Yeah. I think again, it's one of these things that's hard to uh, explain, but you develop your own shorthand, your own, and using that evening at Kerner Hall was a great example. I mean, we've done a couple of things over there in that room over the years, and we know what a great room it is, what a special room it is. So we knew we could do things that we don't always get a chance to do, and it's this intuitive shorthand that is it's an amazing thing, and it is hard to describe, but I mean, I guess it's what chemistry is in the for lack of a better term. So that is, and you can't replace it. It's we're probably as close as siblings would be without being siblings. That would be the best way to describe it to me. So,
Wow. Lucky, very lucky.
I think that's not lost on us, that we're still able to do it, and people want to come and see the band, and the band is, obviously the two events we played with you guys, it was just the two of us, and but the band is as good as, if not really, it's better than it's ever been. The musicianship is really extremely good. It's really more Andy and I that have to keep up with the band than vice versa. They're all excellent, which is great, because it keeps you honest, like you have to be prepared. And that is a big part of what we do is, being prepared, being mentally prepared for whatever you're doing, and just being sharp and being present.
And we're very punctual.
And very punctual. I love
very
that. And what's coming up for the two of you? What's do you have any shows lined up?
Not until I think June.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
where is that? Where will that be? Do you know?
Well, it hasn't been announced yet,
Oh, okay.
but
Tell us after we unhit record.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll and then we'll do, throughout the fall, we've been going out to BC the last few years, which has been great, and then we do our annual handful of Christmas themed shows in late November through to December.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And where in BC are you playing?
We're going to be at the Hollywood Theater in Vancouver in November.
Fantastic.
And hopefully over to Victoria as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Amy, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you. You're the best.
So great.